So, as a member of the quote-unquote radical left, I think that most of my viewers know how I feel about Joe Biden and his running mate Kamala Harris. I don't like them because I think that they're too conservative. Now, I think that if you're not a regular viewer, you're going to push back against my use of the term conservative to Kamala Harris because that seems a little bit extreme, right? I mean, you can say Joe Biden is a moderate, a conservative, but Kamala Harris? Well, yeah, because think about it. She does not support Medicare for all. She was wishy-washy on Medicare for all when she claimed to support it, and then she moved away from it entirely once she got pressure from the private health insurance industry. If you don't support Medicare for all, that's a conservative position, and you're to the right of the right-wing party in the UK, the Tories, because even Boris Johnson, as extreme as he is, at least believes healthcare should be free at the point of service. Now, he may be trying to chip away at the national health system in the UK, but regardless, he's still better on this issue than Kamala Harris. And if you are okay with thousands of Americans dying every single year because they don't have healthcare, that's a pretty conservative position, at least on healthcare. But it gets worse because when it comes to foreign policy, Kamala Harris is also really bad. She is pro-U.S. imperialism. She is pro-Israeli apartheid. And if you question my claims here, all you've got to do is watch her 2017 speech at AIPAC, and you're going to understand why leftists like me don't like her. Now, when it comes to criminal justice reform, Laura Baselan of the New York Times penned a 2019 opinion piece that basically perfectly explained why her tough on crime stance as a prosecutor is antithetical to everything the left stands for. It goes against our approach towards restorative justice, and it's why the left isn't excited about Kamala Harris. Now, by no means is she worse than most Democrats. She's better than Joe Biden. She's not as conservative as him. Her record isn't as bad as him. But by any reasonable leftist standards, she is not a good candidate. Having said that, the individuals who should theoretically be excited about Kamala Harris, a former top cop who was tough on crime, is Republicans. Now, the reason why Republicans, in theory, should like Kamala Harris is because Republicans like Wall Street, and Wall Street likes Kamala Harris because as soon as Joe Biden announced that she'd be his running mate, Wall Street executives wasted no time telling the press how relieved and excited they were that he chose her. And Donald Trump himself also loves Kamala Harris because he donated $6,000 in total to her back in 2011 and 2013 when she ran for Attorney General in California. Ivanka Trump also donated $2,000 to her in 2014. Now, I honestly don't know who should be more embarrassed by that fact. I mean, Kamala Harris accepted thousands of dollars from an anti-gay Republican who was leading the birther movement against Barack Obama. That's embarrassing, but Donald Trump, who's now attacking Kamala Harris as a radical leftist, donated money to her campaigns. So it's ridiculous. None of these people are serious. None of them are consistent. They're all hypocrites. But we know that deep down, regardless of what Trump says, he likes Kamala Harris because she didn't prosecute Steve Mnuchin, who went on to become Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary. So Trump has a little bit of a problem on his hands. He's backed into a corner. He doesn't know what to do because Joe Biden is apparently, according to him, not necessarily radical left, but he's being controlled by the radical left. We're the ones who are really pulling the strings. And the fact that he chose Kamala Harris as his running mate, that's basically proof that he is embracing the radical left. He's no longer just, begrudgingly being dragged along by them. Now he's saying, all right, I welcome you with open arms. Except that's really stupid. And the way that they're running this campaign, Republicans, is they thought that Bernie Sanders was going to be the nominee, so they created all these attack ads, socialist, radical left, and they just thought, all right, all of a sudden there's a change. We already created all these talking points, and it's too late to change, so we'll just use the same playbook. So Joe Biden is a radical leftist. Kamala too. It's such a weird political strategy that they're using, but I shouldn't even say that because this is the same strategy that they use every single time. So as soon as Joe Biden announced that Kamala would be his running mate, Donald Trump released this moronic ad.
Kamala Harris ran for president by rushing to the radical left, embracing Bernie's plan for socialized medicine, calling for trillions in new taxes, attacking Joe Biden for racist policies. Voters rejected Harris. They smartly spotted a phony. But not Joe Biden. He's not that smart. Biden calls himself a transition candidate. He is handing over the reins to Kamala while they jointly embrace the radical left. Slow Joe and phony Kamala. Perfect together. Wrong for America.
That ad was nonsensical. To say that she embraced socialized medicine is wrong on so many levels because she did not embrace Medicare for All. She moved away from Medicare for All. We have videos detailing how she specifically moved away. But to say that she embraced socialized medicine, even when she supported Medicare for All, that isn't true because she's not embracing socialized medicine. If you support Medicare for All, you're effectively supporting socialized insurance. You know, socialized healthcare is something that you could say the national health system in the UK is, not Medicare for All. So it's wrong on a number of levels. He also says, in essence, that by choosing Kamala Harris, Joe Biden has embraced the radical left. If you think that Kamala Harris is radical left, then that is as ridiculous as thinking that McDonald's is healthy for you. Because it's not true. It's preposterous. It's demonstrably false. But Trump isn't alone because there are other individuals, political commentators in particular, that think she really is super duper radical. Ben Shapiro, who is definitely not a fan of wet-ass P-words, tweeted out, Kamala Harris is a far-left radical with a shocking inability to connect on a personal level. She's rehearsed and mechanical. Her record is wide open to serious attacks. She adds nothing to the Biden ticket other than checking some boxes for the Twitter blue checks. She's mechanical? I mean, I would agree to an extent, but Ben Shapiro, of all people, should never say that someone else is mechanical. And the reason why her record is open to criticism is because left-wingers don't like her record because she's too conservative. Right-wingers, conversely, should love her record. You're tough on crime, she's tough on crime. She doesn't support Medicare for All, you don't support Medicare for All. So what's not to love if you're a right-winger, right? That she's left-wing on social issues? I mean, is that all you care about? Like, it's just, these people don't know what they want, right? They don't know what they want, and they see the D in front of Kamala's name, and they instinctively just think, oh, well, I'm a Republican, she's not on my team, so I have to not like her. But their attacks, believe it or not, are dumber than what we just saw from Ben Shapiro and Donald Trump, because the Federalist Society is attacking her in a really unique way if you are a conservative. So as Jared Holt tweeted out, the Federalist, a right-wing op-ed shop with an unmistakable pro-police editorial position, is currently trying to sell its supporters Kamala is a cop t-shirts. Now, the question that I have to ask is, are you promoting Kamala Harris? Because if you're a conservative, that should theoretically be a good thing. If Kamala is a cop, then shouldn't you be trying to lick her boots right now? Because that is what we've seen over the past couple of months. Conservatives licking the boots of police officers as they do violence against protesters. I mean, for a conservative to make this argument, it's nonsensical. Leftists can make this argument. When we say Kamala is a cop, we're saying it because we want to defund the police. We don't like her tough on stance crime. But for you to say this, I mean, I don't know what you're trying to get at. It's like if I made a shirt that I sold that said Trump supports Medicare for All. Like, wait, isn't that a good thing? Don't I as a leftist want Medicare for All? So don't you as a right-winger who is a bootlicker of police officers like that? I mean, these people don't know what they are talking about. Like, they're trying to find a way to attack her, but everything that they have been throwing at her is just, it's incoherent, it's inconsistent, it's demonstrably false. And as a left-winger, I think there is plenty of reasons to criticize Kamala Harris, but if you're a right-winger, she isn't a radical leftist, which is why their attacks look so bizarre. Now, Tucker Carlson, believe it or not, probably had the most bizarre attack of them all, and it just straight up was incoherent.
Actually, it might be nice to have someone like that. But that is not Kamala Harris, not even close. Harris has endorsed forcing schools to let biological males play on girls' athletic teams. That's not a majority position. It is nuts, but it's not as crazy as federally subsidized abortions for biological men. Harris is for that, too. She has announced it. Think that through for a minute. Men can't get pregnant, so how do we pay for their abortions? Harris has never explained that, of course. At this point, it would be systemically racist to ask her, so no one ever will ask her. Shut up, no questions allowed.
He just said it'd be systematically racist to ask her for clarification about these policy positions. Are you a system? Are you an institution, Tucker? Do you understand the words that you're using? Like, you are on national television. And his criticism of Kamala Harris is she has endorsed letting biological males play on girls' athletic teams. So the implication here, I mean, this is transgender fear-mongering, but what he's implying is that what Kamala supports is, these high school teenage boys who, if they want to dominate at sports, all they have to do is put on a wig, call themselves Susie or something, and then they can just go play women's sports. No, she is in favor of allowing trans females to play female sports. That's what she's in favor of. And she's correct there. But then he trots out this weird claim. She is for federally subsidized abortions for biological men. Now, he correctly pointed out that biological men cannot get pregnant, which is correct. So, obviously he is misrepresenting a position because she never said this. And I looked up this statement. I don't know where it's coming from. Like, I tried to fill in the blanks. Like, maybe she said something about trans men who still kept their female reproductive organs. I mean, there's no origin for this. He just straight up made this up. Federally subsidized abortions for biological men. Unless you're referring to condoms. I don't know if he would qualify that as an abortion. But do you understand? Like, the point is that this is incoherent. It makes no sense. What are you getting at here? That Kamala Harris wants to give biological men abortions? Okay, well, if biological men can't get pregnant, which you correctly stated, then why should we worry about them having abortions, let alone whether or not the government is going to be paying for it? Like, you sound like a fucking dipshit. It doesn't make any sense. So this is the problem here. They don't know how to attack Kamala Harris. They don't know how to attack Joe Biden because these are candidates who aren't that bad in their opinion. Left-wingers can criticize Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, such as myself, because we are coming at our critique from an entirely different position. But right-wingers, the only criticisms that exist currently are from the perspective of a lefty. So if you criticize the things that left-wingers criticize Kamala Harris for, then you look like an idiot because, well, we don't like that she's tough on crime, but you do like tough on crime stances for prosecutors, so shouldn't you support that? I mean, why would Donald Trump donate to her if he didn't like her tough on crime stance, while she was the Attorney General of California? It makes no sense, right? So I think it's really funny watching them fumble because throughout the course of this election cycle, Trump has really struggled to formulate a coherent attack on Joe Biden, and all that he has is that Joe Biden is controlled by the radical left. I mean, if that were true, wouldn't he be supporting Medicare for all? Wouldn't he be supporting UBI at least during the pandemic? I mean, to say that he is being controlled by the radical left, you've got to provide us with some evidence. He is not. He's not. Even his wife has gone out of her way to say he's kind of a moderate because he is. In fact, I think that being a moderate is a little bit of a misrepresentation. He's pretty right-wing in almost all of his stances. Maybe not social issues, but on economic issues, on foreign policy. He's a right-winger for all intents and purposes. And a lot of Republicans like Lindsey Graham love him. So the fact that they're struggling here to criticize Joe Biden and now Kamala Harris, it's just sad. It's sad. Like, you can tell they had a playbook that they wanted to use. Socialism. And Bernie didn't win. So, that attack kind of became stale. But it's kind of like if you buy a t-shirt that is too big for you and, you try to return it, but you lost the receipt. So you figure, fuck it, I bought it, so I might as well wear it. That's what they're doing with their 2020 strategy. Now, what this tells you is that, for anyone who was fear-mongering about Bernie Sanders and saying that we can't support him because he's too far left, we all could have predicted that regardless of who the nominee was, Republicans were going to call that person a socialist. They literally called Barack Obama a Marxist. A pro-capitalist, neoliberal Democrat, according to them, is a Marxist. So they throw around terms like Marxist and socialist and radical when the only reason why they perceive people like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden even to be radical is because from their perspective, being so far on the right, maybe they do seem radical to them. But in actuality, in the real world, where Americans support Medicare for all, support a Green New Deal, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris aren't too radical. They're too conservative for most Americans, and that's a fact, regardless if Republicans want to acknowledge it or not.
You know the thing. You're getting nervous, man.